Acrylic markers for paper crafting? I never thought I'd try them, but when I did, I discovered something completely unexpected. Just wait until you see what I created with these. Today I'm testing the new SIMPTAP Acrylic Markers by Arrtx to see just how good they are for paper crafters. I'll share my thoughts as a crafter who's never used acrylic markers before and as someone who usually does not like messy art supplies. Plus, I've discovered a surprising way to use them, one that every paper crafter should know. So stay tuned for that. A big thank you to Arrtx for sending me these so I could test them out and share my results with you. Before I show you what they can actually do, let's unbox them and see what makes these markers so different. This is the set of 48 saturated colors, and they come in this beautiful sturdy box, which is perfect for storage because you do need to store these horizontally. Just look at that rainbow. Now these markers are a little bit different because they come with an exclusive top valve action. Let me show you exactly how this works. When the markers arrive, each of them will have a clear cap on the top, just like this one. You'll need to remove that before you can activate the marker. First up, shake the marker and ensure the cap is on when you do this. At this point, there won't be any ink on the nib itself, so let's change that. Simply press down the top of the marker and you'll see the ink begin to flow. You can see here now how that ink is flowing into the nib. It's super satisfying actually. I have some thick white paper to work with here and I'm just going to start by making a few marks. The markers have a 1 to 6 millimeter nylon brush tip, which is soft and flexible. This means I can achieve a variable line width, even as someone who's an absolute beginner. I've activated this one off camera. I do want to show you though the premium quality ink. It's vibrant, quick drying, smooth and waterproof. Let's activate another one, shall we? I particularly love this shade of pink. Step 1, shake with the cap on. Step 2, press the top of the marker and you'll see the ink beginning to flow. In just a moment, the nib will be filled with colour and you'll be ready to create. I'm going to go ahead now and activate all of the pens and then I can get to swatching. There are swatch sheets on the website that you can download so you have pretty swatches for everything. I have printed mine out slightly smaller so that it will fit inside the box for easy storage. I'm noticing as I go along here just how well the colour in the marker matches the colour of the cap. All of the markers come pre-labelled with a letter and number combination, so it's super simple and easy to see which marker is which. Now that I have these all unpacked and swatched, I can already tell these are not your regular acrylic markers. Seriously, the thing with acrylic markers is that they are highly pigmented and very opaque. This means you get high color coverage without the need for color layering. You can use them on multiple surfaces like card and paper, plastic, glass and even stone. Simply put, it's like working with paint but in a marker form. And as a crafter who is not a big fan of mess, these will allow me to work with paint without the big cleanup. Once I saw how smooth and vibrant these colours were, I started wondering how would they look on a darker cardstock. So let's try that next. I'm swatching these in the same order as the original swatch sheet so that I can get a really clear comparison. two metallic colours in this set, a gold and silver, and I'm keen to see how they look on this black card. There they are, and the shine on both is stunning. Here you can see my first swatches on white card, and then the big difference you can achieve when using coloured cardstock like black and craft. I especially love how these markers look on the black cardstock. The colour really pops, and I'm starting to look at these markers in a whole new way. Now I'm wondering, if they look this good on paper, what about acetate? Because acetate can be tricky. So it's time to test that out. I've gone ahead off camera and pre-stamped these images onto some heat-resistant acetate. I really wasn't sure how my regular stamping ink would go on the acetate, so I did go ahead and heat emboss it to really lock it into position. Now comes the fun part. You can see at the top of the screen there, I did go ahead and create a bit of a swatch sheet so you can see all of the numbers and the colours I'll be working with. I did want to plan this out just a little bit so that I could enjoy the colouring process. I did also stamp and emboss the images on some plain white cardstock, and it's my plan to mix and match the cardstock elements with these acetate pieces. And of course, I'll share with you the completed card, so keep watching for that. Technique 5 out of 5 stars. I love how it turned out. I think this is a really lovely detail that I can add to all kinds of papercraft projects, and using the markers rather than paint makes it so easy and mess free. I will be making a card with these, but first I need to take a boring plain wooden sentiment and colour match it to my card. I have a confession to make. This wooden piece has been sitting in my craft stash for years. I have no idea where it's come from or what brand it is, but today is its day. I've chosen one of the colours that I've just used in my florals, so I know it's going to coordinate perfectly. Now, this isn't a super dark pink, so I was a little bit worried about how well the colour would cover over the wood. I noticed right away that I need not worry because the colour was adhering to the wood really nicely. The paint is super opaque and I'm getting an excellent coverage. This was so simple and easy, and I love that I can now colour match and coordinate any wooden embellishment to any of my papercraft projects. I give this technique 5 out of 5 stars. It is such an easier and faster way to paint wooden embellishments. This I can do. Here's a look at the completed card. I just love how this turned out. I think this is super pretty. You can see the acetate florals here in the background, really soft and delicate. And then my painted florals on the white cardstock. And of course, my painted wooden sentiment. I love the layers, I love the colours, and I will definitely be doing this again. Now, I did promise to share with you an unexpected way to use the markers. And this technique, it's my absolute favourite. You have to see this. It's going to change the way you think about acrylic markers. I'm starting this card with another stamped and embossed image. This is just on thick white cardstock. I have a small selection of colours I'll be working with, and I'm going to turn my acrylic paint markers into watercolors. This is really simple and really fun. I have a lovely big jar of water, and all I'm doing is adding some color down onto my mixed media mat, then adding water to it. Now you could use watercolor paper for this, but I am not. My image is quite small and I'm not working with a lot of water or a lot of paint here. I'm going with a soft and delicate watercolor vibe here, so I have purposefully chosen colors from the collection that are very pale and soft. The more water you add, the more diluted the color becomes, and you actually have quite a lot of control over this. You can also work in layers, so you can build the color up as you go. The only thing you do need to be mindful of is that the colors don't bleed into each other, but that is a similar worry you would have working with regular watercolors. I just worked in sections and allowed each part of the picture to dry before adding more color. Colouring is complete and I can now put my card together. I'll be working with some very simple layers here, starting with a piece of coloured cardstock. I've then die cut out this large cover plate die, which I'll add on top. Next, I'll take the watercolour floral and I want to stretch it out over the card. So that means giving it a chop. There are times in paper crafting where you do have to be a little bit brave, and this is one of them. I just need to glue those into position and then I can add my sentiment. I have stamped, heat embossed and die cut this sentiment from that very same stamp set. So of course it coordinates perfectly. For a little extra dimension, I do die cut it out several times and then stack those together. It kind of creates the same look as a chipboard piece would. For the card base, I'm working with a white cardstock, and all I'll end up doing is measuring it to fit this card front and then adding the front to the card base. Lastly, I'll add just 3 of these crystal enamel dots and the card's done. I love how this turned out, and I will be using this technique over and over again. I have so much control over the paint with the brush, and by adding water, I can change up just how vibrant and saturated the color is. I've essentially changed these acrylic markers into watercolors. I give this 5 out of 5 stars, and I don't think I'll be buying acrylic paint in tubes ever again. There is one more test I want to try, and I have definitely saved the worst for last. It's the surface that gave me the most trouble in my last video. If you missed that, I'll link that here for you. I need to know, will these markers handle it? Can they work on wax paper? Let's find out. This is baking paper from my kitchen cupboard, and I have gone ahead and sketched out a cute little floral design here. I've used the black acrylic marker directly onto the paper, and so far so good. This is not smudging off at all, and I actually really like the look of it. I'm going with a look that's a little bit different for me here. This one does turn out a little bit grungier than I would like, but I think that's only because I used the black marker. If I had my time again, I would have chosen a white marker or maybe one of the pastel colors. At least with the black marker, you can see just how well this is working. This surface is super waxy, and I actually did not think this would work. Yes, there are areas where the paint does resist a little bit. It almost beads up, but it does stay put. It does not come off. It adheres to this very waxy paper. And if that wasn't hard enough, let's level this challenge up by adding in some blocks of colour. I'm going to choose some pretty colours here in shades of pink to coordinate with that bold black outline. Again, I wasn't really sure how well this would work. I wasn't sure if the blocks of colour would bead up more, but I think they actually beaded up less. I was able to get excellent colour coverage, and in fact, the results are super opaque. I was even able to easily add layers of the markers on top of each other. This impressed me, so you will have to give this technique a try. Another 5 out of 5 technique. This worked perfectly and has opened up so many opportunities for this pretty boring household supply. After spending days now experimenting and testing with these markers, I'm surprised by just how much I love them. I don't know why I hadn't tried them sooner. I think I might have just been a little bit scared, unnecessarily so. You all know that I'm not a big fan of anything too messy, and that's what I love the most about these markers. I now feel like I can use paint, but in a way that fits me. If you'd like to check them out for yourself, I do have country-specific links in the description box below. Thanks again to Arrtx for generously allowing me to test out their markers. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see me test even more craft supplies, so you don't have to, be sure to watch this video next. I tested cheap versus expensive craft supplies with very surprising results. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, bye!